Howdy, my name is Tanner, and I'm doing an upload of how to rust weather slightly lightly, more lightly than my other videos. My other video on how to heavily rust stuff. So, basically what I use is a product called General's Multi-Pastel Compression Chalk, which you can pick up, I don't know, $2.50 at, I got mine at Hobbytown. Basically comes in earth tones, or whatever, skin tones, I don't know. But I don't use this, it's way too light for anything I use. It's Caucasian colored. Let's try and not be racist here, Tanner, yeah. Okay. Shit. Okay. So, I mainly use these. I already had one crack in half because I was a little bit too rough with it. You can use basically anything to chip them off. I use one of these little knives quite often. They're pretty cheap. You can pick them up at like, I don't know, auto parts stores for a couple bucks. Another great thing is this drill bit, which has a nice edge on it that you basically just rub like this and it produces a fine chalk powder, which gets everywhere if you're not careful. And it looks a little bit like that. There's a little bit left in there from the last time, so we can mix that in with the new stuff. A little bit more of that because I like my rust a little bit darker. Excuse me. You have to excuse the mess. My bench is also my table for everything else. So a little bit of that, and I was using a fork for a little while because I couldn't use this bit. I couldn't find it. Haha. So I get a little bit of dirt brown in there. Try and make the chalk wear evenly, I guess, so it retains its structure. Let's see. So we got good that. And a little bit of this in there. The lighter colored chalk the lighter the color, the easier it will, I don't know, flake or scrape. So be careful with scraping too hard and getting bigger chunks. I mean, you can see if I do that, it has large chunks as opposed to the finer stuff if I do that. So watch out for that. It doesn't hurt it too much in the rubbing process, but it makes it a lot easier. It can be reused again longer. Coming down off a cold, I apologize. Okay, scoot all that. Let's see. See, already my hands are multicultural. Okay, so have those out the way. Put them back into the storage. Okay, slap that over there. Now basically just mix it together. Okay. It would appear that I forgot the subject, so I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. Our subject is going to be a Milwaukee Road snowplow. I got this kit when I was 10 or 11. It was one of the first home builds I did. I just recently replaced the spring in the coupler, so it should work pretty good. Missing the top part of the blade here, but otherwise won't be too bad. So we might need to make more of that stuff, so we'll get into that in a bit. So basically what you want to do is, where'd it go? Right there, okay. Get a piece of paper so you're not getting chalk dust everywhere. Pick up like a pinch of it, just like, I don't know, a pinch of salt. Sprinkle it lightly on it. You don't need too much to cover an area because you'll be smushing it around. So basically just get in there, get under it. Make sure to get all the nooks and crannies, and if you need to, you can use like a toothbrush or something and get in there. Usually I've found that you can just kind of shake it in there and it stays pretty well on. So basically when you're done like smushing it around, got a relatively even coat on everything, you're going to kind of try and wipe it off a little bit, almost, so it make sure that your strokes go down, because I mean rain falls down. You're not going to have cross falling rain unless you're on the coast or something, which would be pretty weird. And make sure to get it in the trucks of the wheels, because everything rusts properly. You can I still have the old plastic and metal trucks were wheel sets, excuse me, on here. So basically when you're done getting the side done, you have a nice coat, just shake it off so you get all the excess, blow it off, and you have one side done. Now this is a really light one. I didn't want to put a whole bunch on here because I mean it's going to be something that's still pretty in use on my road, so it's not going to be sitting very much or anything. So we're going to start on the other side. Get it on there. You can either just sprinkle it on there too if that's easier for you. A little bit too much on there, it's okay. I think I might try for that other side just one more time. A little bit heavier, maybe. Check it out. Remember, different plastics react differently to different materials, so make kind of experiment to see if the plastic you're working with will take the chalk and chalk powder. So now I got that off. That's better. There's that side. So we're going to do the top now. So always remember that you can conserve your materials. Shake it down. Put her on top. I'm not even going to bother painting the horn and stuff on this. We're just going to say everything was yellow. After a while, your fingers will pick up enough of it where you can just kind of rub it, and it will just transfer the color automatically. That's a lot better. I don't know how well you can see it on the video. Hope it turns out well. Scrub on there. I found that it transfers better on metal, painted metal, and kind of older plastic than this new stuff. Those Mantuas that I did in the the Facebook post had they were older materials, and they definitely clung to the stuff better than this is. Okay, so for a plow we're going to have directional, like it was scraping up snow and flinging her out to the side. So it's not going to have the same direction. Remember to get under stuff too. That's a lot of I see a lot of people not weather the undersides of things because it doesn't, you might not be able to see it that easily, but it does matter, at least in my opinion. So basically now we have that first layer on there, and now we take a tissue and just kind of rub everything down a little bit. I think we can kind of leave that, just kind of maybe dab it a little bit, not too much. Okay, and I think I'm also going to weather that coupler a little bit. And this stuff sticks wonderfully to couplers, and it doesn't affect their connectivity a bit, so I'll make that look a little bit, I'm pretty sure it's going to be blurry in the video, but definitely looks used. Oh, I forgot to do the other side of the couplers there, or the trucks. Oops. So we got some on that side. We got some on that side. Fantastic. So should be good to go. I know there's a couple places on the top of the plow here where the original glue for the top, I'll call it a plate, I guess, used to be, but is no longer there because it's pretty old. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. So yeah, that should just about cover it. Thanks for watching.